You might have received a message that we are going live. Hare Krishna. I'm going to share the prayers. So those of you who might not know the prayers, feel free to follow me. Or if you are new, then just observe this time and you can follow me next time. These are the prayers, what we call Mangla Charan, right? They are in Sanskrit. So if they are a bit tricky, then just stay with me and then you can stick by later. All right, let's follow. Oh. Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kirpa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna Adi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So good to have you all. Adi is there. Oh, right. Okay. I think Dhruv Vasia has joined. Ishan is here. Mataji is here. Hare Krishna. And Vyan is here, who has renamed himself and who has just left. Might be pretty late at his end, I guess. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna Mataji. Then we'll pronounce. So we are following. So this is what we say, setting the scenes. So before we get to start Bhagavad Gita, what we are doing, we are taking our time to understand the background behind Bhagavad Gita. Where Bhagavad Gita was written, what's the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, all that, what we could share now. A lot of discussions, a lot of questions, a lot of engagements. Arun is sitting next to me, who has read a lot of Bhagavad Gita text, who attended Krishna Club today. So he's all equipped. And feel free, anyone and everyone asking for the question. And very nicely, Adi has sent me YouTube link of this video or the Zoom meeting we are having now. Adi just shared that link with me. So I've shared that link with everyone. That's what he requested. Because I think last time he noticed that the voice was a bit better on YouTube. I mean, it could be amazing the way technology works sometimes. We are on Zoom, but Adi says that on YouTube, my voice is a bit better. So feel free, take your pick, Zoom or YouTube. Best part of Zoom is that we have engagement. You could ask any questions. And that's what we say. Anytime, any question which comes to your mind, feel free. Anything I say which you might not get to understand, let me know, right? Because the whole idea is not to finish Bhagavad Gita, but to go slowly, understand everything. We need to understand Bhagavad Gita to such a great depth so we can utilize all that information in our life, right? That's the whole plan. Hare Krishna. Let's go for it. Any question anyone has from the past, from the last week? Hare Krishna. Thank you, Adi. Okay, Adi has said that the previous link, I think we had a dot in previous link, so that's why he has sent it again. Right. Okay, great. So we discussed, we started. Anyone remember what we discussed last time? Or it's been very long? It was long, wasn't it? 7 days or 6 days ago, we discussed Bhagavad Gita. What was that? Oh, so many things in life these days. Right? I hope we remember when I will show this. Right? I hope we remember Mahabharat we mentioned. Right? Aaron?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything from this slide?
Yeah, so Mahabharat was composed by Vyasadeva 5,000 years ago, around the same time as Arjuna and Krishna when they had the dialogue Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Mahabharat,
Yes.
and that's practically it summarized.
Great. Anyone remembers anything else about Bhagavad Gita? Adi, please.
I remember something about the before, the after slide.
All right. Okay. You remember the next slide? This one?
Yeah, this one.
All right. Great.
Duryasta was born blind. He had 100 sons, but he was named, but he wasn't the king. But he was older than Pandu.
Yeah.
But Pandu had 5 sons, but he had 100 sons.
Very nice.
So, but as Duryastra was born blind,
Mhm.
Pandu was the king,
Mhm.
and he had 5 sons: Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sadava, Yudhishthira.
Yes. Very nice. Great. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Adi. Very well said. So in this, what we could see that both Dhritarashtra and Pandu, they were brothers and they belonged to the family of Kuru. Kuru was the name of a great king. So they both were called Kuru Vanshi. Vanshi is like which family you belong to, which dynasty you belong to. Details, next slide we're going to see. But Kuru was the main one, right? And they both were the brothers. He was blind. Because he was blind, he could not become the king. But he wanted to become the king. And his eldest son, Duryodhan, was the one who was not very nice, right? Duryodhan wanted, so Pandu had 5 brothers, and Duryodhan wanted to kill Pandu's sons, called Pandavas. Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev. So these 5 in the way we say descending order. So Yudhishthir was the youngest one, and Sahadev was Yudhishthir was the eldest one, and Sahadev was the youngest one. And one thing I will tell you about Sahadev, this is from Mahabharata. Sahadev could see the future. He could see the future. He was given the boon. Now, why he was given the boon? Very interesting. I will tell you at some point later in this story why he was given the boon, right? It's something unimaginable for us. At least I can't think of it. But he did something which, so something was asked from all 5 of them. None of those 4 did it, but he said, okay, if you're asking, I will do it. He did it. And because of that, he was given a boon. And this happened a number of times in Mahabharata, that the father asked the sons or the kids, the whole children, to do something. Some of them, usually the eldest one, they say no. mostly the youngest ones say, yes, I will do it for you. And that's the reason the father gives the boon. You might have heard of Parshuram, who was an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Parshuram was the same. His father said to him that kill. So Parshuram got angry on his wife, and Parshuram said to his eldest brother, kill your mother. And he said, no, she's my mom. Then he said to the second mom, kill your mom. Said, no. Third one, kill your mother. No. The fourth one, kill your mother. No. The fourth one, Parshuram, kill your mother. He killed his mother. Then he said, kill these brothers. They didn't listen to me. And then he killed all of them. And then he got happy and he gave him boon. And he also said, ask for something. He said, I know you are great. Could you please bring my mom and my brothers back to life? And he did. He did. He was so powerful. And it says that's the reason, because he knew his father could do it. So that's why. And then all of them, they said, sorry, that we should have listened to you. Obviously, at the end, all the brothers were gutted because they thought, oh, that was a great plan. I could have done it. But why I didn't think of it? But you never know. What if plan wouldn't go as per the plan? And that's the reason a number of people, they don't do what's supposed to be done. But it's a tricky situation. But the idea is that kids should listen to parents. And Sahadev did something very similar. What? We will discuss it later. But younger brother of Dhritarashtra had 5 sons, so referring to Pandu. So this was the slide we were discussing. And then we had Bhishma, who was the grandfather of Pandav and Kaurav. So he was there in between Kuru and he was the grandfather of the father of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So great grandfather. It says grandfather, but he was a great grandfather. All right, okay. Let's discuss this. So as we said, there are a lot of details being given, and the reason being, so we will not get confused later. However, you never know. You might get confused in this slide. Yeah? Okay. Who would like to read it from the top?
Can I please do it?
Yes, please, Adi, go for it. From the top, and let's see what you can make out of it.
Ganga was separated to Bhisma and Sharatanya. Then after Sharatanya, Saryati went to Vishnavedev and Paryashara. After that, after when it went to Vishnavedev, it went to
Vyasadeva. Very nice. Great.
I'm trying to work out where the arrows are.
All right. Okay, great. Yes, that's the way to understand. So remember, they all were Kuru. And let me know, I will give you some time to read more names. But that's the way we read. So the way Adi did. So Kuru family. So because it says Kuru family, there is no surprise that Kuru is on the top. Right? And now what Kuru says? Kuru is saying, oh yes. Oh yes. Kuru's son was, well, Kuru also had someone in between, but then there was a king called Shantanu. Shantanu had 2 wives. One on the left, Ganga. From Ganga, he got Bhishma, right? So he got married to Ganga, and there is a great story there. Do you want to hear that story? Who likes stories? Well, Aaron says he likes stories. Aaron says he likes stories. Oh, Adi likes stories. Yes. Okay, great. Let's go for it then. Let's try this. Yeah. So, this is a story. Ganga is still a river called Ganges in English in India. So if you go to the holy places, you will find Ganga. Ganga seems to be renowned. the most auspicious river in Haridwar, in Rishikesh. These are two small towns in North India. If you go there, it says once you take the dip in Ganges, in Ganga river, then all your sins are eradicated. Wow, amazing, isn't it? But the condition is that when you do it, you really, really request Ganges to wash your sins, and you promise that you will not do those sins again. So it's not like I will go, it's like the elephant. Elephant go, make himself or herself clean, and then come out and then make himself, herself dirty and go back again and keep doing it. That's not going to help. So in Ganges, when we go, we promise that we are not going to do the bad things, and then all the sins will be eradicated. And there's a lot more logic behind it. But let's see what happens after that. From Ganges, so there was a time Shantanu said to, so Ganges river is not from planet Earth, but Shantanu was from planet Earth. Shantanu saw Ganga and said, wow, you're so beautiful, you're so chaste, you're so nice, so kind. I want to marry you. And Hare Krishna to those who have just joined, right? We are just going for the background before we start Bhagavad Gita, because this is what we have, say, setting the scene before we get into. So some of you might know, some of you, this might be the background for you. So think about it and keep it with you, right? Okay. So Kuru, and we are doing a lot of conversations, lot of discussions, and lot of stories. Hare Krishna, Devesh and Devika. Hare Krishna, Tanmay. Good to have you. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we are doing the stories, right? A lot of stories. So this time we are doing the Ganges story. So Shantanu was a king, and Shantanu saw Ganga, and what we say, Ganga personified, which means Ganga could take the form of a river. Ganga could also take the form of a human. And then Shantanu said, Ganga, I would like to marry you. And Ganga said, okay, but I'm not from this planet. I'm from heavens. But if you want to marry me, I can marry you. But there's a condition. I cannot stay here for long. I will stay with you until you ask me a question, which means if you will not ask me a question, I will stay with you forever. But that's not going to happen. So very first question you will ask me, whatever I will do, you will let me do it. But very first time you will stop me, you will ask me something, off me go, I will leave it. I will go away. And Shantanu said, well, I'm a king. You are going to become the queen. Now, nobody will stop queen. You do whatever you want to do. I'm the king. I'm the only one who could stop you. So I will not stop you. No one else will stop you. Do whatever you want to do. And then what she did. They lived together for many years. Then they got a baby boy. A son was born. And for the kings, the sons are very, very, very dear. You know why? Because they think when they will grow up, they will be very old. The son is going to become the king. So son first becomes the prince, and the prince son becomes the king. That's what used to happen, like Lord Rama, right? So his father was there. His father said, okay, Ram, I'm an old man now. You are a prince. Now you should become the king. And this is what happens. So Shantanu was very happy that he got a son from Mother Ganga. But what Mother Ganga did, she's the mother now, because she was not the mother, but as soon as she got the baby, she is the mother. So Mother Ganga said, okay, I'm taking this baby out of the palace. Shantanu goes, what's happening? But remember, Shantanu could not ask the question, because if he will, then Ganga will fly away or go away, or maybe. Yeah. So what happens there? Ganga. Anybody know the rest of the story? Okay, Aaron says, okay, Shivani knows a bit. Yes, Shivani. Please, would you like to, rather than me saying it? Go for it, Shivani. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what Mother Ganga did was that she went outside to the river, and then she basically kind of put the baby into a basket and kind of like let it die. And then the same thing happened again, that they got another baby. And then she did it again. And then she did it again and again and again. And finally, the king couldn't take it. Shantanu couldn't take it anymore. So then he had to ask, and he said, "What on earth are you doing?" She said that, "You asked me a question, but now I have to go." And then she went. And also why she did this was I think because there were a few boys. They were playing a trick on this sadhu, and then this sadhu said that you go to the material world, but you as soon as you go to the material world, you'll get sent back here.
Great job. Great job, Shivani. Thank you so very much. So what happens?
I have a question.
Yes, please, Adi. Shivani, I think the question is for you. Be ready. Yes, go on.
What if the king asked, "Don't put the baby outside"? It's not a question, right? It's a statement, right?
Sorry, Adi, what do you mean?
What if they say, "Don't put the baby outside"? It's not a question.
Oh, don't put the baby outside. Okay, right. Now, remember these days, well, these days, Kali Yuga is very different. Those days, it was very different. These are not normal people. Well, these were not normal people, right? But yes, we should not put baby outside. Why we should not baby put outside? Baby might get cold if you are here in London. It's very cold these days. Not
I meant,
yeah.
by stopping her, you can just say, don't put the baby outside. It's not a question.
All right, okay, got it. So rather than, yes, you're right, and you're very clever. But maybe Shantanu was not as smart as you are. But you're right that he could have said it. But the idea was that you could not, Shantanu could not stop Ganga doing whatever she wanted to. She could say, "Oh, well, why are you putting?" Oh, this is a question. Oh, we should not put it. Whichever way you will go, you are going to stop her actions. And her action was, she was not just putting the baby out, she drowned the babies in the water. And she was Ganga. So as a person, she took the babies in the Ganga water and she drowned the babies. Once it happens, second time it happens, third time it happens, it kept happening again and again and again and again.
Well, what if the king asked that? It would have stopped him, right?
He did stop it. And when he stopped, he said, "I will not let you drown this baby." And that baby was called Bhishma. He had a different name, but he was called Bhishma later, and we will figure out why. But that was the baby left. And what Ganga said? Ganga said, "Oh, because you stopped me, you cautioned what I was supposed to do. This is the time for me to leave." Right? It was a Siya. Aryan says, "Shia, I will go." Now, she told another story to Shantanu. So I'm telling you a story. In this story, there is another story. So what Ganga said, that there are some Vasus. Now, Vasus are some of those heavenly people. Well, I say people, they could be demigods. They are celestial people, you could refer to. Like they are much better in a lot of sense than us. Means they could fly. We cannot fly. Well, sometimes kids, they try. Like another kid just jumped out of the window. We should not do it. But yes, they could fly. So Vasus were there. And there were 8 Vasus, and Vashisht Muni was there. Now, for some reason, these 8 Vasus laughed on Vashisht Muni. And when you laugh on sages, it's not good. It's not good. A lot and lot of times.
Not even a good person to laugh on.
No, yeah. Aaron says sages are not good persons to laugh at, which is true because they could do anything. Imagine you are in your school, you laugh on your principal. Well, he might give you detention, not just to laugh at, but maybe not to be kind on. But Vashish did something, yeah. So otherwise, another story will start. So these 8 Vasus were there. They laughed at Vashisht Muni. Vashisht Muni cursed them. You all will go down on planet Earth and take birth there, because being Vasus is great. They were enjoying their life, but when they will come on this material world or the material planet Earth, they're going to suffer, because this is what we call a place of suffering, right? We all have noticed COVID recently is there because of COVID, and these days the petrol is not there. Shopping mall is going out. So many problems we have. But when he cursed, when Vashisht Muni cursed all these Vasus, all the Vasus except one said, so sorry, we didn't mean to. So Vashisht said, okay, no worries. As soon as you will get birth on planet Earth, you will come out. So all those children, Ganga drowned, they came back. So they were born on planet Earth because of the curse, but because they also said sorry to Vashisht Muni, they were, as soon as they were born, they left. So when we say that they drowned or they died, they actually gone back to their place, Vasus, which is great for them. But out of all the Vasus, out of 8 Vasus, one Vasu did not say sorry. And he was the one whom Vashisht Muni said, you're going to stay there for long, very, very, very long time on planet Earth, and you're going to suffer. And that Vasu was Bhishma Dev. So that 8th child whom Shantanu did not let Ganga drown was the one who left. And Ganga said, I'm going, you stay with this child. He is going to suffer a lot. He's going to be great because he's not human. Well, he is born as human, but he is actually a Vasu, who is a celestial. So he's going to be a great boy, great young man, growing old man, but he's going to suffer a lot because of what he did in his previous life. Shantanu didn't know anything. Shantanu cried a lot because his wife was going away. Usually husbands cry when the wives go away. I don't know whether you have noticed in your family or not.
Usually.
Can I ask one question, Prabhuji?
Please, Mataji, yes.
Yes. Can you explain to me the relation between Ganga and the Vasus, why they were born from her womb?
Haribol. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much for that question. Ganga was also cursed. Well, whether you say cursed or a pre-planned, Ganga was also supposed to take birth on planet Earth. So, and when she was, so a lot of time what happens, for example, Arjun went to the heavens, and then there was one Apsara who saw, and Apsara asked for something, Arjun said no. So she cursed Arjun, and in return she was also cursed. So Ganga was also cursed such a way that she will come down on planet Earth and stay here for a while. And there were many other, like Pururva was also there. He had to be here as well. So that's the reason she had to come. And when she was here, then they said, okay, you will have material children. And then you had to bear, because she also had that pain that my children going away. She did not enjoy. She was Mother Ganga, but she did not enjoy the love and affection of her children, because all the ones died, and the one who did not die, she had to leave that child. So she did not enjoy. So that was a curse for her as well. But that's the reason. That,
Okay.
but otherwise, there is no such relation between Ganga and Vasus. They both were differently cursed, but both the curse came together. And that's the reason we said any and everything which happens on planet is most of the time, most of the things are pre-planned by Krishna, by Supreme Personality of Godhead, that these things going to happen. A very nice question.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Great. So now from Kuru.
So are you saying that means COVID was planned by Krishna?
Haribol. Very nice. Now, COVID was planned by Krishna in one sense. How? If you think about it, let's say if I'm driving, right? And so in London, we have a unit well, the speed, the unit of speed is miles, and in India we have kilometers. So let's say if I'm driving on the highway, which is motorway here in London, and the topmost speed you can go 70 miles per hour, and you could also have 10% on top of it, considering the devices with the speedometer, they might be faulty, so they give away 10%. So 70 plus 10%, 77 miles per hour. If we go more than 77, let's say we are driving on 78, camera will capture and camera will send the warning to us. So camera might send the fine to us as well. Now, when we got the fine at the front of us that we have to pay £100 to the authority, to the council, then we might think, whose fault it is? Who gave this? Well, in one way, all these rules were predefined by the authority, by the council. We say this is council's fault. Why council put that rule there, that if you do this, this will happen? And there are many rules, many laws like that, right? For example, in the schools, we have the rules and regulations. There are many laws in the societies. So similarly, in this material world, we have many rules, many laws, right? So those laws are made by Krishna, but we are the ones who are supposed to follow, which is we are supposed to be vegetarian, right? If we follow the Shastras, if we follow the Vedic knowledge, we are supposed to be vegetarian. If everybody would remain vegetarian, these things will not come, right? So, and many, many more things. Something else could happen, but most of the people who live much longer, much healthier life, they're usually vegetarian people. And anyways, a lot of people who are non-vegetarian, later in their life, they automatically become vegetarian. Reason being that they cannot digest, or their stomach cannot digest the non-vegetarian food. But while they are young, they can do the exercise and they can digest it. So did Krishna pre-plan COVID? Well, in one sense, Krishna made the rules that if you're going to do wrong things to the planet going to curse you back. And we are the ones who had this freedom, and we did not follow the freedom. It's something similar. Does that make sense, Devesh? Oh, Devesh is thinking.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
You know, you said that the king said stop. About, you know, the king said don't ask the question. Yeah, the king should be cursed, not Bisma,
Oh, okay. So
right?
yes. Well, in one sense, if you think, he was cursed because his wife left him. He was cursed, or he was in pain because all his 7 children were died. Yeah, they all were dead. They all were gone. So he was already in pain. He could not ask his wife why she's killing, or what apparent we felt that killing, but that was not killing. That was a plan. All those 7 children were getting back to their original place, and that's the reason.
I meant like the king should be cursed, not the baby.
Well, baby was actually cursed in his previous life when he was Vasu because of what he did.
What did he do?
Vashisht Muni was there and he laughed at Vashisht Muni. He should have kept his manners, and this happens a lot. Like I was saying to Aryan that there was a guy who went to the police station. For some reason, he did not have any place to stay, and it was very cold here in London. He went to the police station and he asked the police man that I don't have any place to stay outside. I want to stay in the locker, the place where the prisoners are. And then the policeman said, no, go away. You can't just go and stay here. I said, why? Some people are there. Well, they have done something wrong. So what wrong they have done? Well, you got to do something wrong. And he said, well, hitting a policeman is wrong enough? He said, yes, that's bad. And he just started hitting that policeman. And that policeman said, okay, you're going to go inside, And then his purpose was solved. But this is something similar where you should not. So, and again, there's another story, what happened to Vashisht Muni and why he laughed. Well, the idea is that he should not laugh. just because, let's say if we are somewhere and somebody falls down, somebody just fell at the front of us, right? From the steps, from the stairs, from the ladder, from the stage, we should not laugh at. Now, the good thing is that in this day and age, even if we will laugh at somebody, I don't think the other person is so strong or pious or can curse us. We're not able to do it. But yes, when elders they give us blessings, then those blessings come away. But similarly, the curses also come away. But those days, sages were very powerful. So this is what Bhishma did wrong in his past life, and now he is going to have down all those sufferings. And he did not even say sorry when his friends said sorry. Remember, rest of the 7 Vasus said sorry, but he didn't do that. So that's the reason. But Shantanu was also suffering. But remember, all these people, they are here in material world, and this material world is suffering. So that's the reason we are reading Bhagavad Gita, so we understand that this is a temporary place, because sooner or later everybody is going to leave this planet, which means people die. If not from COVID, people will die from something else, right? It's not that before COVID people were not dead, and it's not, obviously, a lot of us, I will include myself, we might not be old enough to remember that something similar to COVID was there before, and even before. So even though in our living memory, living history, COVID is there right in front of us, and we will all remember rest of our life. But before us, there were many other diseases very similar to COVID. There was another disease which almost killed, I think, 2/3 of Spain, right? And then that was getting further. And Black Death, Aaron has been reading recently as well. You might have read it.
Black Death is COVID, right?
Well, these days there is another Black Death which comes from COVID, another offshoot of it. But another disease in the past was also called Black Death. So it's very similar, and that's what I'm saying. But these things, they are not new. They might be different versions of the previous reactions of what we do back to the nature. Like we say, we are not taking care of the weather, the Mother Earth. We are not taking care of the trees, the ocean. We are using a lot of plastics. This is us. The rules are there. The laws are there. If we will not take care of the earth, then the earth will do bad. And Arvind got a question here.
So you know how COVID, it's bad and everyone dies from it. So if you survive from COVID, and let's say if you don't get COVID, do you use up good karma?
Sorry, could you say that question again, please?
So from COVID, when people die, do they? So, and if you, let's say if you survive it, and if you don't even get COVID, is that considered as like, will you, like, you know how there's good karma and bad karma? Will you use up your good karma, or none of your bad karma will go away?
Oh, right. Okay. So were you saying that if you don't die from COVID?
Yeah. And if you don't get it.
Okay. Well, that's if you don't get it, it's not that you're gonna run out of your bad karma. Because of your bad karma, you didn't get it. But that doesn't mean that your amount of bad karma you have done has gone down.
Good karma.
Sorry, amount of your good karma has gone down. And it's not good karma, bad karma when we think of it. This is chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Then it's not a lot of the way we understand quantitatively. Like we cannot say 50% of my good karma is gone because I've survived COVID. It's not exactly like that.
But will it kind of use a bit of good karma that you didn't get it at all?
Yeah.
Or will nothing happen because it wasn't supposed to come to you?
Because of your past good karmas, yes. That's the reason you didn't get it. Yes. That's why a lot of time one vehicle, one car, for example, is going to get an accident, and certain people in the car will die, others will not. Why? How? Because of the karmas. Because of the karmas. If we have done something wrong, the wrong will follow us. We cannot run away from it. Okay, great. Great questions. Thank you so much. It will become even more clearer as we will progress further in Bhagavad Gita. So Kuru family was there, Shantanu was there, Ganga, and Bhishma was left. Bhishma will come again. And then there was another girl, after many years of Ganga gone, Shantanu met Satyavati. Satyavati was the daughter of a fisherman. And fisherman was a very clever guy. And he gave his daughter to Shantanu. So Satyavati became queen now, like what Ganga used to be. So Shantanu is a king, Satyavati is a queen, and then Parashar and Vyasadeva. That's another. So Parashar Muni, we will discuss it, but Ved Vyas is very known to us because Ved Vyas is the one who wrote or who compiled all the Vedic scriptures. Ved Vyas is the one, later we will see, who gave divine vision to Sanjay, the charioteer or the servant of Dhritarashtra, who could see Mahabharata even sitting in the palace. So Mahabharata is happening in the Kurukshetra, and Dhritarashtra is blind, he could not see. So Vyasadeva came along and Vyasadeva said, if you want, I can give you divine vision. You can just see it from here. And Dhritarashtra said, no. I have been blind since my birth. I didn't even see these children growing up. So I don't want to see them dying in the battle now. Give it to someone else. And say, okay, anyone you trust. He said, well, yeah, my charioteer has always been there. Because charioteer, when you go to the battle, charioteer is the one who is always the most trusted person you have. And that's the reason Krishna became Arjun's charioteer. Charioteer is the one who drives you around in the chariot. Yeah. So Sanjay was there. So he said, okay, I'm going to give the divine vision to Sanjay. And that's the reason Vyasadeva is very famous for. And Parashar Muni is another sage. We will discuss about him as well. But if you go forward, and there's a dotted line also, we will see what happens there. It's very interesting. We might spend a lot of time on this, but there are so many stories in this one slide itself. But it's good. It's really good to go through these stories. Some of you might have heard these stories, and there are so many reasons and so many different understandings, so many things we can learn from it. Like the very good question Devesh asked, that could we say COVID is happening? COVID was predetermined by Krishna. Another thing is, a lot of time when we say predetermined, or rather than predetermined, it could be the approval, the sanction, which means it's going to happen. But for example, some children, they fail their exams, and somebody will say, well, how come the principal let it happen? Or how come, it was a maths exam, how come the maths teacher failed these people? Well, if you think about, yes, he failed it, or him and principal, they let the children fail. But it was actually the result of the karma, which means preparing for the exam, studying good for the maths exam. Those kids who did well, who prepared it, they passed. Those who didn't, they did not. So they failed it. It's not the maths teacher who did it, but maths teacher or the principal, they made the rules. And every student supposed to follow the rules. And the rule could be 40% is minimum to pass, 50% could be pass. Some of the exams, I did one, the very first engineering I did, 75% was the passing marks. Right? And that's a huge, but that's the marks there. And that's why the quality was great. But you can't really change that. Well, if you want, you can go through the system and you might try to change it. But there is a reason why they are there. And then you cannot blame the maths teacher failed it, because it's the responsibility of the students. So this understanding and this learning, we can take it from this story. And there are similar stories there. Great. Now, anyone else would like to say a few more words what happens between Shantanu and Satyavati and why we got these. There are a few names there. 1, 2. There are 2 sons. Oh, I said it. Yeah. All right. Arun says, use your pointer. Use your pointer. Oh, where is my pointer gone? Oh, my pointer is gone today because I'm sharing. Okay. Right. So, okay. Hopefully, I don't know whether you can see my pointer or not. Not sure. Not sure. But where I am now is, so from Kuru we go Shantanu. Shantanu got 2 wives. Ganga is gone. 1 son, Bhishma, is left. Bhishma. Okay, let's go for another story. You might. Anyone knows what the condition? So Satyavati's father was there, who was a fisherman. He also put a condition. He said, because he knew Shantanu really wants to marry his daughter Satyavati. So he put a condition. Anyone remembers that condition? Aryan raised his hand. Anyone else?
I do.
Oh,
Me
yes.
too.
Oh, okay. Okay, Shivani, you wait. Let's give Aryan, you also wait. Hey, somebody else. Devesh, Devika. One of you.
It's Devika speaking. So the condition he put was that if Shantanu married his daughter, then Bhishma would not get to marry, nor would he get to be king.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Devika. Precisely. You want to say something different, Aryan? No. Okay. Shivani, you wanted to say something. Do you want to say something different or exactly the same what Devika has said it?
Exactly the same.
Exactly same. Great. Because great minds think alike. All right. Okay. So very nicely, the way Devika said it. So the fisherman, the father of Satyavati, said that the son, so that was the very first thing he said. He said, the son of my daughter should become the king. But remember, Bhishma was already old enough. Bhishma was actually a prince now. And Bhishma was the eldest one because Bhishma was there even before they got married. So automatically Bhishma was very pious, very brave king. He had everything to become a king. So he should become a king. So fisherman said, my daughter's son should become a king. And Shantanu said, well, how come that's going to happen? That's not going to happen because Bhishma is the prince and he's going to become the king. Fisherman said, sorry, that's my condition. And then Shantanu went away. But Shantanu was very sad. Yeah, he was very sad. When we want something in the family, when we want some toys or some like Xbox, PS3, what else these days? So if the kids say we want it, and parents said no, the kids they are there, they are eating food, but their mind is still somewhere. They are upset. Yeah, Arun is pretending to cry here. He's looking super cute, and that's what Shantanu did. Not that he pretended. He was very upset. And Bhishma said, "What's up? How come, Daddy, you are so upset?" Well, he didn't say Daddy, I guess. But Shantanu didn't say anything. But there was somebody who knew, who was there with Shantanu when the father of Satyavati gave that condition. That trusted guy told everything to Bhishma, and then Bhishma went straight to the fisherman and said, I promise you, I will not become the king. And fisherman said, hang on, if you will not become the king, but you are still the oldest one, you will get children, maybe before Shantanu and Satyavati's children, which means you will not become the king, but your children can become king. Your son could become the king. And Bhishma said, come on, man, let me live my life. But fisherman was adamant that no, my daughter's son should become the king. And Bhishma said, okay, let's do this. I take a great oath that I will never ever get married, which means I will always remain celibate rest of my life. I will never get married to anyone. And then the fisherman got very happy. He said, okay, if you will not get married and if you will not become king, and these two conditions, as Devika explained it very nicely, if these two conditions are fulfilled, I'm happy. And then Shantanu heard this, and Shantanu was so happy. And this is another example where a father became so happy by the actions of the child, then Shantanu gave a boon to Bhishma. Now, who remembers what was that boon?
I do.
Ooh. All right, okay. So who was the very first one to say that? I think, before you fight.
Um,
Oh,
can I just share this time?
okay, yes, go on, please. Very nice.
So this is Devesh speaking. The boon was you will choose when you want to die.
Fantastic. Do you know what?
Like he was given the power to choose when he wanted to die, but then Bhishma took another oath. I will watch over the family and make sure everything's all right.
Very nice, very nice, very nicely said. Thank you so much, Devesh. And so kind of you, Devika, to let your brother Devesh speak, because last time you mentioned it. Now there is another question I'm going to ask. So for everyone, what Devesh said is so right, that Shantanu gave the boon to Bhishma. And the word Bhishma is actually something very austere. Bhishma. Very, 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 very austere, right? So, and there are a few other different meanings as well. But because that oath he took was very austere, and that's the reason Shantanu said, now people will remember you from this name, this new name, Bhishma. And then he said, I give you the boon that you will decide when you want to marry. You will decide when you want to leave your body. Sorry. You could leave your body when you desire. And in Hindi, we call it Ichha Mrityu. Ichha is the desire, Mrityu is the death. So you could die when you would desire. And this is a great boon. Hardly anyone in the past had it, right? But there was another name before Bhishma. Before that oath, nobody knew him by that name, Bhishma. There was another name of Bhishma before that oath. Anyone knows that name? Okay. Aaron is behind me, who got his hand up. Yes, go on, Aaron. Yeah?
Devavrat?
Okay, Devvrat. Yes. Devavrata. Remember, he was a Vasu. Vasu used to be Deva as well. So Deva was in his name. Devvrat, we used to call him. Okay. So that was his name. And that's Bhishma's story, right? And a lot of us might know a bit more about Bhishma, and Bhishma will come back again. Right. Okay. Now between Shantanu and Satyavati, we still have 7 more minutes. Great. Let's cover the next one. Between Shantanu and Satyavati got 2 children. Chitranga. Chitranga. Right? And Vichitra Virya. Now it's a Vichitra is a very Vichitra is something like a unique, you could say. These 2, Chitranga and Vichitra Virya, were there. Now you would see there's no arrow. Well, there's one arrow which is coming, but no arrow going out of Chitranga. What does that mean? If you notice, Bhishma, there's no arrow going out of Bhishma.
Prabhuji,
Yes, please, Tanmay.
Prabhuji, that means that so what happened to Chitrangada is he before marrying he died and he had no children. So therefore Vichitravirya had to become king.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And then his wife was found in a it was a swamber. So what they did was like a competition.
Yes.
And then he wasn't invited. So the Bhishma got very angry. And they they went into the swamber without getting invited. And they attacked all of the kings and stole the wife.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Very wrong way, was it?
Very wrong way. You're right. Yes. In his life, Bhishma did very few things which were wrong, and this was one of those. However, being Kshatriya, it was allowed those days. Being Kshatriya, You, of course, Vichitravirya. So Kuru was a great dynasty. Shantanu was a great king. Bhishma was awesome. But these two, so Chitranga, remember Satyavati came from outside, right? Satyavati, if I may say so, didn't have what we call royal blood, right? Ganga was celestial, right? She came from heaven. Bhishma was the son of Shantanu, a great king and a great mother. But Satyavati was the daughter of a fisherman. She didn't know a lot of things about the palace. So there were many things which she could not do properly, even though there were a lot of guidance there. And that's another reason when parents suggest where to marry, children should follow that. Not blindly, but try to understand why parents are suggesting what parents are suggesting. For example, intercaste marriage, interreligion marriages. A lot of times, children these days, they don't listen to the parents, but they should do. Try to understand, not follow blindly. But as Tanmay explained it very nicely, Chitranga was there who died very quickly. He didn't have anyone. He could not get married, so he didn't have any descendants, no children. Vichitravirya was the one, and Vichitravirya was actually not good in health. So he also died. But because he was not a great king, he was not invited to this Swambar, where Ambika, Ambalika, and anyone remembers there used to be third sister. So those days it used to happen. 3 minutes left for 3 daughters or 3 sisters. There were 3 daughters of the king, Ambika, Ambalika, and Amba. And Amba was a great personality we will see later. So, like Tanmay said, the father of these 3 girls organized the Swambar. Swambar is like a competition will happen. All the kings or the princes, they were invited to come there. Vichitravirya was not, because he was not. The dynasty was great, but he was not a great king. So he did not want, the father of these 3 girls did not want these girls to get married. But Bhishma was great, and Bhishma got offended because it was not about Vichitravirya, it was about the Kuru dynasty. The family name was spoiled. And yes, he went there and he defeated single-handedly everyone, all the kings, all the princes, and the father of these 3 girls. And he got hold of all 3. All 3 he brought back here. And then all 3 of them said that we will marry to you, because this is what used to happen. Whoever will defeat everyone and win you over during competition, the girl or girls supposed to marry that man. This used to happen. This was a tradition for many years. So Bhishma said, sorry, I did not fight for you. I got you 3 for this guy, Vichitravirya. And Ambika and Ambalika, these 2 sisters said, okay, no worries. We are still going to become the queen of a great kingdom. We are happy. But the 3rd one, Amba, she said, nope, I'm going to get married to you only. I'm not going to marry to that guy. I want to get married to you. Anyone remembers what happens then to Amba? Because Amba's name is not there. Okay. 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Yes. Okay. Shivani is here thinking of something. Aaron is here. So, right. Okay. Just to finish this off, and we will resume back from here. Amba went to the forest and she said, Bhishma, what you did to all 3 of us is wrong. Like what Tanmay said, very sensibly. Ambika and Ambalika said, no problem. But Amba said, nope, there is a problem. So Amba said, I'm going to become the reason of your death to Bhishma. And she went away. Bhishma said, so sorry, I can't marry you. Please don't do this. But Amba didn't listen. Amba went to the forest for many years. Amba did lot of austerity, lot of penance, and got a boom that yes, she will become the cause of Bhishma, and we will see that later.
But the thing is that was it that was it that Bhishma got a boon that he can choose when he dies?
That's right. Bhishma,
So,
yeah, Bhishma, but whenever he will die, there has to be a cause, and Amba will become the cause. So he did wrong, and that wrong is going to come back to him in the form of that curse or the boon which Amba got. Okay.
that boon doesn't really count.
Yes. Boon. No, boon counts. He can still decide when he's going to die, but whenever he will die, the cause, the reason will be Amba. Yeah. And Amba is not here because this is Kuru family. Right. Now, what happens to Ambika and Ambalika? We will continue the rest of the story, which is, again, there are many other stories which are great, very interesting. And if you have already heard it, great. Be prepared. You can share that story. If not, take this opportunity, share with your parents all those stories you have heard today. Discuss this with your family. And maybe because those times were very different, you will say, I don't like this competition. I don't think this is the way to get married. Fair enough, because that was a different time and those rules are not allowed now, and which I think is sensible. But we should always think and we should always discuss. Great. With that, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to see every one of you next Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time. Meanwhile, take good care of yourself and keep safe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Bye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much.